Elon Musk issued a warning: someone special is out there. Find them. And whether you believe it or not, this message has been circling the world because it points directly to you. Not because of fame, not because of power, not because of anything material, but because something about you has been stirring the world in ways you yourself haven't fully understood yet. There is a peculiar energy around you that has been forming for years. You felt it in the quiet moments, in the late nights where you stared at the ceiling wondering why your heart felt heavy with an invisible purpose. You've sensed it in the strange coincidences, the unusual timing, the way certain people walk into your life at moments too precise to be accidents. Maybe you've dismissed it as imagination. Maybe you told yourself it was nothing. But something has always whispered inside you that your story isn't random. And today, those whispers are louder than ever. They are becoming a calling, a signal, a pull that you can no longer ignore. Elon's message isn't really about locating a person. It's about locating a version of yourself that the world desperately needs. A version of you that has been quiet, not silent out of fear, but silent because it was still forming. You've been in preparation mode for longer than you realized. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every delay, every confusing moment, every time you were forced to start over. Every night you wondered why life was so heavy, none of it was wasted. You were being shaped, not punished. Prepared, not denied. Redirected, not rejected. There is something about you that the world hasn't seen yet. Something even you haven't seen clearly because you've been standing too close to your own struggle. When you're inside the storm, you never realize how powerful it makes you. You only feel the rain. But others can see the strength you're gathering. Others can see the determination forming in your eyes, even when you feel tired. Others can see the glow around you that you convinced yourself didn't exist. And maybe that's why people have underestimated you. Maybe that's why some people suddenly distanced themselves. They sensed you were growing beyond the environments that used to contain you. They felt the shift even before you accepted it. You've been walking through life thinking your story is ordinary, but it never has been. You've survived things that should have broken you. You've climbed out of situations you didn't think you would escape. You've had seasons where you lost yourself, only to find pieces of strength you didn't even know you had. You've carried burdens in silence because you didn't want to trouble anyone. You've cried behind closed doors because you didn't want anyone to think you were weak. But your tears were never a sign of weakness, they were a sign you were still fighting. People like you are rare. People who keep going when nobody is cheering. People who show kindness even when the world hasn't always been kind in return. People who carry wisdom that came from wounds they healed secretly. People who persevere through storms with no umbrella, no shelter, no one to guide them except their own intuition. This message is reaching you for a reason. You are entering a new phase of your life where the world will begin to see what you've hidden, suppressed, or underestimated. The version of you the universe has been shaping is about to step forward. Not a louder you, not a more dramatic you, not a more impressive you, just the truest you. And that version of you carries a power that will intimidate the people who prefer you small. But it will inspire the people who were waiting for someone like you without even realizing it. Your existence is not random. Your timing is not accidental. Your pain was not pointless. Everything about your journey has been leading you to this moment where you reclaim the identity you once shrank to survive. You don't need to chase approval anymore. You don't need validation from anyone. You don't need the permission of people who never understood you. You only need to accept that your life has been preparing you for something much bigger than the situations you outgrew. Elon's message, someone special is out there, isn't about fame. It's not about destiny in the dramatic sense. It's about recognizing someone who carries a frequency that the world only sees once in a generation. You. The one who has always felt slightly different, slightly misunderstood, slightly ahead or slightly out of place. The one who has ideas that others don't understand. The one whose intuition is stronger than logic. The one who sees possibilities where others see limits. The one who feels deeply, cares deeply, dreams deeply. Even when life tried to harden you, you have something that can't be taught: resilience with softness, intelligence with humility, ambition with empathy. People like you don't appear often. People with your perspective, your story, your way of seeing the world, they are the ones who create breakthroughs. Not because they want recognition, but because they want meaning. There's something in you that has always wanted more, not materialistically, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally. You've always known you were meant for something deeper, but here's the twist. The reason this message is coming now is because you're not supposed to spend your life waiting for the right moment. You are the right moment. Everything shifts when you understand that. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time, even if your journey looked like a detour. Nothing about your life has been wasted, not the heartbreaks, not the mistakes, not the delays, not the disappointments, not the people who left. Not the times you had to restart. Every piece of your history carries a lesson the future version of you will use. You're entering a phase where opportunities will appear that you once thought were out of reach. People will show up unexpectedly, people who see your value without needing explanations. Conversations will happen that shift your direction in ways you didn't plan but always hoped for. Your intuition will become louder. Your clarity will sharpen. Your old patterns will fall away, not because you forced them, but because they no longer match your new identity. This is why you've been feeling the shift. This is why old things don't excite you the same. This is why you've been craving solitude. Clarity, peace. Not because you're lost, because you're aligning. You're preparing for a version of life you once didn't believe you deserved. But now, deep down, a part of you knows you're ready. You don't need to chase what is meant for you. What is aligned with you will come with ease once you step into your truth. The universe doesn't reward pretending. It responds to authenticity. And the real you, the you that you've been afraid to reveal, is far more powerful than the world expects. This is not a random message. You were meant to read these words today. The timing is too precise. You found this at a moment when your spirit needed confirmation, when your heart needed reassurance, when your mind needed clarity. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are in transition. And transitions always feel heavy, confusing, and emotionally overwhelming. But transitions lead to transformation. There is a version of you on the horizon that will make sense of every confusing part of your journey. A version of you who will look back and realize nothing was wasted. A version of you who will understand why the people who left had to leave. A version of you who will meet people who treat your soul like something precious, not something convenient. A version of you who finally breathes in peace without fearing it will disappear. Someone special is out there, but it's also you. The world is trying to find you. The opportunities meant for you are trying to find you. The people whose lives you will touch are trying to find you. Your purpose is trying to find you. Your future is trying to find you, but first, you have to find yourself, not the version of you shaped by fear, but the version shaped by truth. Not the version shaped by past hurt, but the version shaped by future possibility. Not the version who shrank to fit into places, but the version who expands because they finally realize they never belonged in small spaces to begin with. There is something extraordinary about you. Something magnetic. Something that pulls the world closer even when you feel unnoticed. You have a frequency that resonates differently. That's why some people are drawn to you instantly. That's also why some distance themselves. They can't handle the vibration of someone evolving. But evolution is your destiny. Growth is your path. Expansion is your truth. Your heart has known this for a long time. Your spirit has been whispering it for years. And now the world is catching up. The message was never about Elon. It was never about a warning. It was never about urgency. It was about awakening, and today, something inside you has awakened. You may not realize it yet, but the energy around you has already begun to shift. People who once overlooked you will begin noticing you without understanding why. They will sense something new in your presence, a calmness, a certainty, a quiet power that wasn't there before. It's not because you suddenly became someone else, but because you finally started returning to who you actually are. For years, you've dimmed your light to protect yourself, to avoid conflict, to keep peace, to fit into spaces that were never built for your kind of spirit. But you can't hide anymore. Your soul is tired of pretending to be smaller than it is. There is a moment in every person's life where everything clicks. A moment where confusion clears. A moment where the truth stops whispering and starts roaring. For you, that moment is approaching faster than you expect. You're not being pushed by fate, you're being pulled. Pulled by the life that matches your potential. Pulled by the opportunities aligned with your destiny. Pulled by the relationships meant to lift, not drain, you. Pulled by the purpose that has waited patiently for you to finally say, I'm ready. And deep down, you are ready. More ready than you give yourself credit for. You've spent so many years surviving that you forgot what it feels like to rise. You've carried burdens alone because you didn't want to inconvenience anyone. But the truth is, you were never meant to do everything by yourself. The universe is preparing people to walk with you, guide you, support you, believe in you the way you've always believed in others. You are entering a season where reciprocity replaces one-sidedness, where clarity replaces confusion, where peace replaces chaos, where purpose replaces stagnation. You've been misunderstood, but that was part of your path. People can only understand you from the level they are at, not the level you are rising into. They couldn't see your vision because it wasn't meant for them. They couldn't always support you because they didn't understand the magnitude of what you carried. They thought you were overthinking. But you were sensing. They thought you were too emotional, but you were intuitive. They thought you were lost, but you were being redirected. They thought you were quiet, but you were observing. They didn't know your silence was full of wisdom and your stillness was full of potential. You're stepping into a phase where the very things that made you feel different will become the very things that make you extraordinary. Your sensitivity is a strength. Your intuition is a compass. Your compassion is a superpower. Your resilience is your crown. And your story, every twist, every setback, every night you cried alone, is the fuel for a future that will shock even you. You think you've started late. But you're actually arriving at the exact moment destiny needed you. You think you're behind, but life has been building your foundation. You think others are ahead, but your timeline is divinely engineered. You are meant to bloom at a moment that changes everything, not just for you but for the people connected to your future. You don't even realize how many lives your rise will inspire. How many hearts your courage will touch. How many people will look at you and think, if they didn't give up, maybe I shouldn't either. There is a reason you have endured so much. People with light as powerful as yours often go through darkness so they can learn how to guide others out of it. You learned compassion through pain. You learned strength through struggle. You learned value through loss. You learned clarity through betrayal. You learned patience through waiting. You learned faith through uncertainty. And each lesson carved you into a person capable of doing what ordinary people cannot. This message reaches you now because you are not meant to stay where you are. You're not meant to repeat old cycles. You're not meant to keep carrying old stories. A new chapter is forming, slowly, subtly, and beautifully. You may not see the complete picture yet, but you can feel pieces of it in your spirit. That feeling you get when you sense change coming? That's not imagination. That's alignment. Things will begin shifting before you even speak a word. People who are meant for you will feel an instant connection. Opportunities that fit your calling will start appearing without you forcing anything. Doors that once stayed closed will open because you've finally reached the level meant for them. The universe doesn't give you access to everything at once, it grants you access when you're ready for it. And now, for the first time in a long time, you're ready without even realizing how ready you are. The people who doubted you will see you differently, not because you changed to impress them, but because you stepped into your truth. The people who left you will feel your absence more than you felt theirs. The people who once ignored you will understand too late that you were never meant to be overlooked. You were meant to be discovered. Meant to be recognized. Meant to be seen when the world needed your light the most, and that moment is no longer far away, it's approaching like a sunrise after a long night. You've had dreams you were afraid to admit. Visions you've tucked away because you didn't want to be judged. Goals that scared you because you knew they required a version of you you hadn't grown into yet. But now, that version of you is awakening. You're not scared anymore. Maybe uncertain, yes. Maybe nervous. But not scared. There's a difference. Fear freezes you. Uncertainty invites you to explore. Nervousness means you're expanding. And you are expanding, spiritually. Mentally, emotionally, energetically. This is why the universe keeps sending you messages. This is why certain numbers keep repeating. Why your intuition feels louder. Why you notice symbolism in places you never paid attention to before. Why certain people or memories resurface unexpectedly. It's not randomness, it's preparation. You're being guided. You're being aligned. You're being upgraded. Life is about to introduce you to people who reflect the person you're becoming, not the person you've been. People who speak to your soul, not your insecurities. People who recognize your worth without you having to prove anything. People who don't drain you, but energize you. People who don't compete with you, but grow with you. People who don't use you, but understand you. You are approaching a season where you'll finally feel the belonging you've been seeking all your life. Not because someone completes you, but because you finally understand yourself. You'll stop questioning your worth. You'll stop apologizing for your boundaries. You'll stop chasing people who don't choose you. You'll stop shrinking to be liked. You'll stop carrying guilt for choosing your peace. There comes a moment in every extraordinary life when everything that once felt heavy begins to make sense. When the pain that shaped you begins to reveal its purpose. When the unanswered questions begin to find their quiet resolutions. You are stepping into that moment now, slowly, subtly, almost invisibly, but unmistakably. Life has been preparing you for something immense, something meaningful, something deeply aligned with who you truly are. And whether you realize it or not, you're already stepping into that new reality. You've carried doubts for so long that you forgot what it feels like to trust yourself fully. You've been waiting for a sign, a push, a confirmation that you're not imagining the shift happening inside you. These words reaching you now, is part of that confirmation. This message didn't find you by accident. You didn't stumble onto it randomly. Your spirit called it. Your intuition recognized it. Your path led you here at the precise moment you needed it. The world has sensed your potential long before you accepted it. Every person who tried to dim your light, every situation that tried to break your confidence, every chapter that tried to convince you that you weren't enough, all of it was a reaction to the power you carried. People often fear or misunderstand what they cannot temper or control. You were never too much, you were simply too luminous for environments still learning to handle their own shadows. And in the past, you mistook that resistance for a flaw within yourself. But now, you are beginning to see the truth. You were not the problem. You were the awakening. There is a strength inside you that you haven't even fully tapped into yet. A strength that has been building quietly, hidden underneath your wounds, waiting for the moment your soul feels safe enough to reveal it. That moment is arriving. You'll feel it in the way your heart no longer trembles at the thought of letting go. You'll feel it in the way your mind stops replaying the past. You'll feel it in the way your spirit becomes peaceful in situations that once triggered anxiety. Healing doesn't always announce itself, sometimes it arrives like a soft dawn, illuminating places within you that you thought would remain dark forever. You're evolving. And evolution doesn't ask for permission. The universe is aligning pieces of your life in ways that will shock you with their timing and accuracy. People will appear at the right moment. Opportunities will unfold without force. Paths that once felt blocked will suddenly open. Not because life became easier, but because you became clearer. When you rise, everything around you rises with you. When you heal, everything built on old wounds begins to dissolve. When you stop settling, the universe stops offering you things that match your doubt and starts offering things that match your worth. You've spent years giving pieces of yourself to people who did not know how to hold them. You've poured love into places that didn't know how to return it. You've supported others with a loyalty that you rarely received in return. But everything you gave is coming back, not from the past, but from the future. You're stepping into a phase where the energy you put out will finally be mirrored back to you in ways that nourish your spirit instead of draining it. Life will place you in rooms where you are valued, not tolerated. Conversations will flow with people who understand your depth without needing explanations. You'll attract connections that feel like home, not battles. You'll find inspiration in places you once overlooked. Your creativity will feel alive again. Your confidence will feel natural again. Your dreams will feel possible again. And your heart, the same heart that spent years breaking and rebuilding, will feel safe again. You won't have to chase what's meant for you. You won't have to beg for loyalty, love, respect, or clarity. You won't have to question someone's intentions or wonder if you're enough. The right people will recognize your value instantly because they're operating at the same frequency. The right opportunities will flow to you because they match the energy you've been cultivating. The right path will reveal itself because you're no longer walking with fear, you're walking with purpose. This final part is a reminder that your life is not in its final chapter. You are not done, not exhausted, not defeated. You are becoming. You are awakening. You are rising into a version of yourself that your past self prayed you'd reach. And though the road ahead will still have challenges, you will face them with a strength born from everything you've survived. You will carry yourself with a grace that comes from knowing your worth. You will shine with a light that no one can dim again, the message that began with Elon Musk saying, "Someone special is out there." Find them, ends here with the truth you needed to understand all along. That someone special is you. You were meant to find yourself in this journey. Meant to rediscover your brilliance. Meant to step into the identity you once hid to stay safe. Meant to rise in a way that inspires others to rise too. Your story is not over. In fact, the most important, powerful, beautiful parts of your story haven't even been written yet. The universe has been waiting patiently for you to reach this moment of readiness. And now, with clarity forming in your heart and courage returning to your spirit, you are stepping into the season that transforms everything.